Right, have we got it moving? Not seeing a lot of action yet. Oh, cool. Okay, guys. So, it looks like we are live. I'm going to be painting this chap up today using Citadel contrast paints. Hopefully the camera sorts itself out when I change the view in a second. So the beauty of contrast paints is hopefully for speed, but also for vibrancy of colour. That's what I'm really after. What you'll notice is I've got the cards here as well. So I'm going to be doing the card art, sorry, the miniature painting linked to this card art, okay? And I'm going to try and do it solely, well, I say solely using contrast paints. The difference is going to be where the gold is. And where the gold is, I'm actually going to use my kind of Leadbelcher and then the yellow over the top. Because I think just pure yellow may not look quite right. Okay, let me just quickly just close this down because it seems like we are getting some problems there. Bear with us. I've decided to choose this one first. I have got the statues as well. So I have got the statues which, you know, I might use. But I'm not going to do those first. I'm planning on doing those with a bit of Basilican grey. The statues, that is. And then doing some features like the gems and maybe parts of the staff. I've got to straighten that staff out as well before I paint it. But that's how I'm going to paint it. Now, in terms of priming, give me 2 seconds. Just waiting for my stream to catch up. Oh, it looks like it's not too bad now. Okay, so what I've done is I've primed with Rathbone. This is the one I keep going on about. This is, in my opinion, the best priming to use on your models for contrast paints. It gives, if you have a look, let's change a second to here. Now, if you have a look at the miniature, you'll see that it's a kind of a warm white that it's producing, and that basically gives it a really, really nice colour when you put the contrast on, which you'll see in a bit. Don't worry too much about missing some parts because the contrast will go over it slightly, hopefully, he says. But it will give it that even more of a contrast. The other 3 characters I've done are Kilgore, Arquette, and Dugran. So they are primed, ready to go. And I've just got to finish the other ones later. So, Mariusz. The first thing, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, is when you're dealing with contrast paints, you want to start with the lighter colours first. So he's obviously a white werewolf. So I'm going to be using the white colour first. Now you've already got a little bit of contrast. This is the beauty. I mean, look how the details pop compared to a standard grey. So just by literally undercoat spray, it makes it look really nice. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, the contrast paint spray from Games Workshop, but I think the Citadel Rathbone is worth the money, to be honest. Right, so what white we're going to use? The only white, one of the best contrast paints you can buy, Apothecary White. Apothecary White is an essential part of your contrast setup. So, let's get to a bigger brush. So what we're going to do is do all the fur with this white. Okay, so we got the tail, we got the feet and the legs, obviously the face, and these bits of fur of the arm, okay, and the hands. So we got, don't worry about getting too much on these. These are pretty big models, they can take it. Just looking down, this is this Billy Goat Gruff. The goatee is also that white. And literally start to plaster around. Now, if you've watched my other videos, I'll talk about the fact that it'll start to look really grey when you first put it on, but don't worry, it will get better as it dries. And probably don't want too much pooling on the top because that's where the highlight is. But there's the head. And this is what I mean. You get a decent sized brush, nothing too bad, but you start to put it on, and that's basically doing the white. Whoops. Now we go to, what's going on with those hands? Oh, they're metal. Oh, he's got metal hands. Okay. Didn't realise that. Let's go to the fur here. And again, because we're starting with the lightest, it doesn't really matter, especially because I'm going to use Leadbelcher on the metal. It doesn't matter if you go over the lighter parts. Well, that's really cool. See his chest armour? That's going to be bone, and I've got a different colour for the bone. Okay, so let's get in here. Oh, so nice. I'll tell you what, after painting Joan of Arc miniatures and trying to hold 16mm, holding a nice beefy bit of plastic really is better. And then I think I'm just going to go underneath the hand as best as we can, getting in there. So we're doing the underside of the hand now. I might go in between these ribs as well. I don't know if is that supposed to be grey? Let's have a look at the card art and see if I can find a picture where I'm looking at. Yes, no, that's not skin. Okay, fair enough. Again, I'm not too fussed about it. Getting the foot, be good. So just getting in there with the foot. And on the other side as well. And then, whoops. Try not to hit my camera. I got a new camera set up. It's like an LED halo, where you got the camera mount as well. Now, I don't know, hopefully it's not too jiggery in terms of the. Now, I think that's going to be skin as well. I think the skin underneath his leg as well. So I'm going to get into there. We need some more paint. Woo! Without dropping the miniature completely. So give it a good shake. Get the pigment running. And then we've got it pulled at the top again. This white one's been great in terms of staying open. Thank God. That is a real bind. Now I'm going to do the tail. So I'm getting in there and doing the tail now. You can see that where the spray for the contrast, where the primer spray's gone, you've kind of got the natural grey anyway. Now, there's been talk about, obviously, yes, you could Xenophil highlight this, but I just feel that I'm just doing the leg there. I just feel like the nature of this Rathbone spray means you don't need to. I really don't. I don't believe you do need it. But that is my personal opinion. I'm just going on the inside leg there on his right leg. Getting in there. Okay, looking good there. Let's do a bit down there. Again, I'm not too fussed about having to go over some parts of this, because ultimately that's going to be metal, which is going to be a darker grey anyway. Okay, pretty happy with that. It's not going to look much different to start with, but once we get the colours on, you will notice the difference, especially on bits like the tail and everything else. So that's now the white done. What I just love. I'm not a massive fan of the character, but I love this miniature. Absolutely love it. Look at just. Yeah. Anyway, let's not just drool over the miniature. So that was Apothecary White. And now we're going to look at the art and think about what we might want to paint next. Now I could go straight to the greys, or probably want to do the bone next. We'll probably want to go for the bone armour. So that's what I'm going to paint next. For the bone, we've got some skeleton Hoard. Okay, it's like a very yellow, ochre, brown, light brown. Now, stay, hopefully. Now I'm going to change back to a smaller brush. So I've got my 0 brush here. And because the bone isn't where I've just painted, I can now go straight onto the bone. Obviously, you want to let a coat dry if you go anywhere near it for your next colour. And we just want to kind of pound this on. We could always highlight this. I know it's slightly cheating because then it's going away from using just contrast only. But if I think it's a bit too dark, I may well give it a bit of a white highlight. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. This is more the like dark bone, the kind of rotting bone. Hence why it's called Skeleton Hoard, I guess. Rather than the nice bleached bone. Yeah, hang on, I just realised I'm off camera there. Let me just tilt. Whoops, not that much. Slightly. Oh, there goes the lid. If you've watched my other videos, it's one of my big annoyances with Citadel paints is the fact that their lids keep falling on me like that. So when you want to go in again and get more paint, you can't. So I'm just being a little bit careful not to get it onto the inside. I've got it on bits of it, as you can see, but to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that colour for bone. We'll soon find out. And then we're just going to carry on. There we go. See, remember we're going over with a darker grey from the inside, but I don't particularly want to see some kind of over masking of the grey and different shades of grey, ideally. But I'm not too fussed. Is that bone? Yeah. And then we just finish off with this bone here. Now we're going to have to be very careful with the going to have to be very careful with the grey in between that. But the contrast paint's kind of dry lighter, so although that might look really, really dark and a bit terrible to start with, it will get better. Now, is this forearms, is that metal or is that bone? That's bone too. So we've got bone coming off here. Bone coming off here. And I think that's one of my favourite things about contrast paint, is it's an immediate result. So as I paint this, I'm going, oh, awesome! Look how the shade of the bones worked already. Because, as I've said before, contrast paints are one-coat wonders. That's what you want to aim for with contrasts. You don't want to be doing multiple layers; it'll ruin the effect and it won't work. So just doing one at a time. Now its fingers are metal. So I think that's the bone done. And we've got one little bit going around there. Like so. Okay. So that's one of the arms done. And it's just a really nice effect. But to be honest, it's this, I'm sure it's the Rathbone coming through and being the star of the show. I highly, highly recommend it. I've used just a normal cheap white primer, and it still works. Don't get me wrong, contrast will still work. They'll still do their job. But compared to the Rathbone, in terms of results, there is a noticeable difference. So my personal recommendation is get that Rathbone spray. It is a bit more expensive, especially when it starts getting out of stock in many places. But get yourself hold of one of those. I don't think you'll regret it if you're using contrast. Even if you're not using contrast paints, it's quite a nice one to do the zenithal on rather than pure white. So go in with a grey first of all, and then spray from above with some Rathbone. Oh, what are you doing? Be a little bit careful. I'm being a bit silly there. I've just handled that. I got away with it, I think, because it has kind of dried on the top. But try not to obviously put your fingerprint on bits you've painted. That's a big no-no. It will come. Oops, I've just gone over the cloak there. I'm just going to use my finger to try and get a bit of that off. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going in with a red, so it's not a hugely different colour. So that'll be fine. Okay, and as running out of paint, these are quite big miniatures. Oh, it's so nice to paint them. It's so nice to paint them after Joan of Arc. To have that space to paint on. Oh, it's so nice. and even Blood Rage miniatures, you know, even normal 32mm, having something this big and so many to paint as well is a joy. So I'm real chuffed. I'm already really enjoying this. Nice. So that's his shoulder done. Let's move on to the forearm. Now, you'll notice here, you see how it's still a little bit wet here? I'm going to be careful there. I shouldn't have started that, actually. I'm going to take that paint off, mainly because when you start an area, you need to do it in one go. Do not let it dry and then try and go over it again, or the rest of the area, because you will get bad results. So try to do the whole, in this case, bone, in one go. Don't do a bit of it and then come back and do the rest of it. It won't work. And this lid is being quite annoying. Okay, so after saying that, I'm going to go ahead and do this bone anyway. Not worry too much. Remember, it's grey, grey, grey in between. Oh, is that a bone going around the? Not sure. I'm gonna count it as bone, and let's see what happens. So this little bit here, I don't know if we can see this little bit here on the forearm. I'm not really sure if that's bone. I think it is. Is anyone done there? Okay. Actually, what I quite like doing is I'll look at it through my camera, because sometimes you spot errors better than by eye. Like that, for example. I've not even painted that part. Again, I'm not sure if that bit is bone, to be honest, to be fair. Awesome. So that's Mariusz's shoulder bones armour done. Now he's obviously got the bits in between his chest, so let's go with those next. But before I do that, it's quite a good habit to, just using normal water, is to clean your brushes intermediately. Okay, so once you've done one piece, do it. That's what I've found the best way to protect you, because this is a Winsor Newton brush, so this is quite an expensive brush, it's about £10. And if you give it a little twist while pushing on the side, then you're not jamming it in, you're not kind of taking, and this will get rid of the paint. Then when you dry it, again on the pad, just give it a little twist, like this. It'll take away the water, because you don't want water with contrast paints, and it will give you a nice point on the brush. This has been fantastic, by the way. This has definitely been worth the money. If you're going to do any amount of painting, I highly recommend getting a decent brush. Okay, what we're doing? Oh yeah, the chest. So let's go in with the chest. Boom, boom, boom. As I said, I've seen some absolutely phenomenal pieces of painting for Super Fantasy Brawl, and a fair amount of as well. People are flying with their painting. Absolutely amazing to see, which has been really impressive. And I think I've seen one person do it with contrasts. Some people will inevitably, which I will do probably with most of them, is do a bit of a mix of contrast and true paint, I guess you can call it, especially with dry brushing, layering and so forth. But I just wanted to see how good it will look just using these contrast. I'm just trying to look underneath. That's shielding. Is that bone? No, that's this kind of like necklace. Okay, so there we go. So now I've done the inside as well, and I think, hang on, is that bone down on his leg, or is that not bone? It's hard to tell on these pictures because the bone looks almost like, have we got any other pictures of his leg? So this is all I've got, and yes, it is bone. Yes, it is bone. It's bone armour. Cool. So now we've got to do his legs. So let's go in there. And again. And it's really unfortunate, but Nico Prime, which obviously Leo's been, rightly so, plugging on the lives, absolutely brilliant tutorial. But it's in French, and for me, I don't speak a word of French, unfortunately. And what I like about painting videos is I tend to have them on in the background when I paint. Obviously not at the moment because I'm recording this, but I like to have them on in the background when I paint, and I can't do that with Nico Primes because it's all in French. And there's been a few of the tutorials, really good tutorials, but they're in French, which is a real shame. So hopefully this might... Now, I am not as good as Nico Prime in any stretch of the imagination. I'm nowhere near that level. But hopefully, for the more mortal of us lot that paint, this might give you a few pointers. Especially, maybe, let's say you're picking up Super Fantasy Brawl as your first miniatures, and you want to paint them for the first time. I would say contrast paints are a good entry point, because you don't have to worry about washing and layering and dry brushing. You can literally do what I'm doing and just do one layer at a time. Now, they're not cheap. That's something to point out. But if you haven't bought, hundreds of pounds worth of normal paints, because that's the big stopping point, right? If you spent hundreds of pounds on a load of paints and that is your miniature, you probably don't want to invest a ton more money on contrast paints. Rightly so. So that's understandable. But if you're doing it from the first time, that you don't have that problem. And you can decide on what you want to paint with. I really like contrasts. I personally really do like contrasts. I think they work really well with Joan of Arc. And I've done my video on the painting series of that. Have we done now? I think we're done. Okay, so that's his armour, his bone armour, complete. So that's the bone. So now you can see we've got the white of his fur and his face, which is now starting to dry. And it's just so easy. And then we got the bone, and you see that this is drying. It dries so good. It's such a nice colour. I really like that bone colour. If we compare it, you see what I mean? It's pretty much exactly the same. So really, really chuffed with that. Now we are going to darken up the eyebrows. I might do a bit of glyph, another different paint on the neck there once it's dry. Awesome. So that was Skeleton Hoard, and that was the bone armour. I keep saying this, but there's... I've done a video, by the way, I've recorded a video, I'll be posting it up probably tomorrow, which I talk about the game itself, like the contents of the game, and I talk about the characters and what the different characters do, and a little bit of a review, I guess you can call it. And I talk about how Mariusz, I feel, is probably the weakest character in the game, because of his health. I would say all they have to do is change his health from 7 to 8, and then they'd be fine. But his miniature, man, I love it. Absolutely love that. I think we're going to go in with the cape. We're going to see the biggest difference with his nice flowing red cape. I think that's the way forward. And yeah, we want it bright. Yeah, we want it nice. Yeah, we're going Blood Angels red. This is a lovely red, a very vibrant red, which you'll see in a bit. And this is where I'm worried. If I'm being honest, this is where I'm worried with contrasts. If you look at the amount of space that we've got to cover, that might lend itself to pooling. It will certainly happen on statues because of the amount of space that you've got to paint on these, but I don't think it matters so much on statue because that might make it look like stone. So, you ready? Here we go. Now, this might look terrible to start with, but hopefully we'll start to see some colours. But look how lovely. And again, star of the show is that contrast spray, the Rathbone. I think it just lends itself. Now what I'm trying to do here is try and get rid, as best as I can, the brush strokes. Now, naturally, the paint will try and fill the crevices, and that's how contrast works. So hopefully, most of it will pool in the right places. Now, I've got to be careful not to get this on things, because red is a strong colour, and I don't want that on his bone armour, that's for sure. So, again, we don't want that pooling. So just bring your brush, try and force the paint while it's wet. Very important, while it's wet. As it starts to dry, then you've got problems. See this? I can't let that dry, because if I let that dry, then we've got real bad problems, because it's not going to look right at all. It'll give 2 layers. The contrast effect won't work, and it'll be very, very bad for poor Mariusz. Okay, so you can see there, again, here a bit of pooling there, so let's just drag that paint over, like so. You know what? I don't think it's going to be too bad. I'm now going to... I'm conscious of not letting that paint dry near the armour, but I've got to change brushes as well, so as long as I'm relatively quick and not too slow, I should be alright. And by the way, this was a cheap brush. I got 10 of them for £8, I think, just off Amazon. But they are perfect for just filling in large gaps. So again, I'm just making sure there's no pooling, sorry, not pulling. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just looking at that bit there. I'm not quite happy with that. So let's bring that down and bring it across here, like so. I think that's mostly looking good. Quite happy with that. Maybe just a bit down there. And that's the difficult part of contrast, I think. When you get large areas, it's how do you stop it from looking a bit terrible? Is you've got to be very careful. So let's get in there now with, let's get that all the way in to the bone. What's that? Oh, what's... So this is red too. Huh. Yes. Oh, that's red too. Right, fair enough. I'm going to use a 2-brush handle technique and just fill this in, because this is red, which I didn't realise. Perfect. Just go across and then can I go across? I want to pick up those ridges as best I can. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the smaller brush. And whoop. Right. Try and be as careful as I can. No, that is red. Okay. Awesome. Okay, that's better. Let's get that top bit there done. And this is where you want to make sure you don't touch the wet paint, because if you put a fingerprint on that now, if I put a fingerprint on that now, I've got to re-prime it and paint it again. This is the massive disadvantage of contrasts, is once you put a finger on it, it's ruined, because it will show as a fingerprint. And you don't particularly want a fingerprint on Mariusz's cloak. Just need to get in there a little bit more. Just right in there. So I don't want a white gap. That's a bit too full. Not happy with that. Maybe if I paint that over there. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So there we go. There's the cloak. And look at the this is why I love contrasts. Look how immediate the effect is. It's you pretty much see it now. And I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think that's pulled too badly. I mean, it's not a flat surface, which is good. I think that will come out all right. Oops, sorry. I think that'll come out. Let's do the underside while we're here. So, quick clean of my brushes, even, just to keep that contrast paint from drying on the brush. Don't want that happening. And let's see how we go with the underside. Again, being really careful of that cloak. I do not want to get fingerprints on it. So the good thing about these miniatures, look at the size of the base you've got to hold. Loads of real estate. Now, as I start to come through here, I'm being careful not to get that tail. This is the problem with one mould miniatures, is sometimes, especially cloaks, I find, you've got to be careful not to kind of paint, when you try and do the insides of the cloaks, try not to paint the other bits that you've already painted, the lighter parts, like body, skin, trousers, whatever, really. Let's get this in there. But just what I was hoping, it's so easy. I can't tell you how easy it is. You can see here, I'm not. You don't have to be so careful with these miniatures because they're so big. Actually, I'll tell you what. These miniatures are great starter painting miniatures because of their size. If you want to start painting, I would suggest, and I would recommend, get yourself some contrast paints. If you've got Super Fantasy Brawls, this is, and just have a go. Have a go at the miniatures. To be completely honest, if it all goes wrong, you could just spray over them and just have them as a kind of like those ones. Sorry, like it was to start with, just primed. If it really goes wrong, but to be honest, anything will be better than grey plastic, if you ask me. Grey plastic just on the board just looks so dull. Now that does require time, of course, which we all know hardly any of us have. But still, I think it's worth it. And I think these are great miniatures to just get started painting with. They're big, they're quite open, and what I mean by that is you've not got many concealed. I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to get in between there. That's quite a tricky little part. And when I'm dealing with red, if I get that red on the tail, that's not good, right? If I get it on any other part, not good. So that's why I go to the smaller brush, and then we try to finish off the rest of the red, okay? And try and get it up in there as well. Get your brush sideways. Woof. Camera's in the way now. Make sure you get the underside of the cloak. So you know you've got the folds of the cloak. Make sure you don't leave one of them white. Again, because you kind of want to do it in one go. Anything that you leave and you have to go over once it's dried will not look right. Now this is the hardest bit probably. Get yourself your brush in the middle there. Nice. I'm just trying to look to see is that. Let's get the red right in there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's just zoom in and have a little look. So I've painted now. Oh, hello, look. That's why I like using the camera. I completely missed that part there of the cloak. There we go. It's better. Perhaps in the corner there. Whoops. Try not to, again, get it too far over the corners, although if it's in the crevices, it's not too bad. I'm not happy there, but this is probably more to do with the fact there's lack of... so underneath here, sometimes the paint will be quite hard to stick to it because it perhaps doesn't have much primer on it. All you need to do is just go over it again. Just go over it again while it's wet, and it'll work. Nice! So there is our cloak. Oh, hang on, I need to do this side. Nearly forgot. I need some more paint for that, and I need to clean my brush. So, good old shake of the paint. Get some more paint into the pooling lid. Twist your brush. Might have to do it a couple of times. Perfect. And let's go into this side. I need to get in there. It's looking pretty good. Maybe just a tiny bit there. I'm pretty happy with that. Just going in into the crevice there with that one. Right, cool. So that's Mariusz's cloak done. And as you can see, he's already starting to come together. Okay, he's already starting to come together, and we haven't done any of the armour or metal work yet, and obviously not the base. Okay, how long have we been recording for? Half an hour. So that's half an hour's worth of painting. So, I mean, you can do it quicker than what I'm doing. But I would say this is a realistic speed. It's real time, it's realistic speed of how to paint these. Right. I mean, this is pretty much the same pose, right? This is pretty much the same pose, so I can kind of think of this as my control. I think we're going to go in with the grey. I think I'm going to go in with the grey now. Hardest bit, the most scariest bit, because if I get this wrong... Oh, wow, look at that. I've just noticed his sword's red. That's cool. Have we got any other pictures of his sword? Is that blood? Is that blood coming from his sword? It's a bit gross. Okay, so it's a metal sword that's run red with blood. Or is it a red sword? It looks like a red sword. Okay, we'll go with a red sword. Why not? That look quite cool. So I'm going to go with red sword in a bit. But as I just put the red away and I want to get on with the grey, I'm going to go grey. So, that grey is a nice dark grey. Looks like metal. Basilican grey is what you want. It's your classic grey on the contrast range. Okay, it's... Stay. No. Oh, it's so annoying. So annoying. Oh my lord. Right, I'm gonna... This is... Now, I've done this before, where you really force it back, but I've also spilt the... Well, you can see the red. I spilt the red, that Blood Angel's red, doing that technique before. It's quite bad. Now, how's this paint drying? I don't want to get finger marks, remember, onto the cloak. The mirror recesses are still wet. I think I'll be alright. I'll try not to touch the cloak, but we'll see how it goes. So, I'm just resting the miniature lightly onto the desk, so I can get my brush up there. And I'm going to go in, then I'm going to twist it round, and I'm going to do the other part. And you want to let the brush do the work, and you want to, so if you have a little look, so you want to let the brush do the work to get in there, okay? So again, just let the brush do the work. And don't worry too much about getting it on the bone itself. You're not going to be able to see it unless I'm not entering competitions. If I can maybe zoom up to that, you'll see that the grey's gone over the bone, right? The underside of the bone. That's not a bad thing. It just adds to the contrast. As long as you don't get it over the top of it, you'll be fine. And I think that's the point. The whole point of contrast is a bit of speed, ease, but you're not going to win competitions, probably, with just contrast paints. Okay, that's not what they're for. So it does depend on what you want. Do you want them to be kind of like showpieces, every single one? Or you could do a mixture. I'm certainly thinking of doing a mixture, because some of these models and their colour schemes don't really fit into the contrast paints line. Not that I think of anyway. Again, I'm doing one panel at a time. Just taking my time, because again, one coat wonders. You kind of don't want to have to redo it over and over again. There we go. See, I've gone a bit over the bone there, but I'm not too fast. That's fine. Make sure you keep applying the paint. That's perhaps a bit too much. I can just put my finger going over it, just to pick up any that might have gone a bit higher. So don't worry about don't be afraid to use your finger to kind of get rid of some. Just be aware that if you put some of that paint onto your finger itself, that's going to be spread around. So you don't want to be spreading that around. Cool. There we go. So now, let's have a little look. Compare these two. See how that side is now really, the contrast has come up. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. Well, actually, let's carry on with this side, his right arm, and let's do the forearm next. So, going in, whoops, get my camera in there, make sure I get my camera in there, and we're going in. Ooh. Again, this is a 0 size brush, by the way. It's a 0 size brush. So I'm just going to move it. There we go. It's better. It's a 0 size brush, so it's not super tiny, but I can do most stuff with this one brush, and that's the idea of Oh, I went over a little bit on the bone now. Not too fast. If you do make a mistake, and let me show you. So I just went over. Let me see if I can find it. If I can get the camera angle going. So over here, I've just gone over the bone. So what you do is you pick up a bit of water, and then you brush the water over. Then you put it on the towel. Then you brush the water over. Then you put it on the towel. Then you brush on the water, and then you put it on the towel. And that will get rid of any contrast that you put on there. Just be aware that if you've taken it off an area, you need to repaint it on. Give your brush a clean, give it a dry, and then you're back to painting and carrying on. So just going up into the recesses. I might need a bit more. Recess, 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 recess. Awesome. Cool. That was pretty painless. Then we've got literally, I believe it's again the metal going all the way over the tops of the hands. Yep. So if we have a little look at this, you can see that he's got the metal hands. So we can carry on with this over the hands. Now I'm going to switch to my bigger brush for this. So going back up to this. This is a size 4, by the way, just if you're wondering. And I can actually use this to pick up some of the paint and put it up onto the... I'm going to give that a clean because I don't particularly want the contrast all the way inside the bristles. Right, okay. So we're going on the hands now. That doesn't even pick up much paint. On these bigger surfaces, you can kind of really see the contrast doing its work. I guess it's a bit, dare I say it, dirty grey, but it's really good for metal and stone. In fact, before I was doing my Leadbelcher contrast over the top of it, I was using this predominantly for non-metallic metals. Literally, just this. And it was fine. It seemed to work fine. How's this working then? I think I might have gone slightly over. It's sort of like that, I think. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I think that is his right arm done. Nice. Pretty happy with that. Okay, let's go to the left arm. And I might as well start with the hands as I've got the big brush out. So this hand's coming around here. So let's start with... I've got some bone to patch up on there, it seems. I hope this is recording with voice. It's always my worry when I live stream is what's the actual live stream? Is it okay? Is it working? This shouldn't have echo. I've done a live stream before where I had horrendous echo because it's from 2 sources. I've taken off the microphone, so hopefully this is just picking up the sound from my phone, which I'm using to record the video. Hopefully. But you can never be too sure, unfortunately. Cool. Okay, that's the... yep, that's the hand done. Awesome. So let's go to my smaller brush and we can do the bone armour. In fact, I'm just going to quickly look at... oh dear. This might freeze to a halt. Just going to check the feed and just see if I've got... if it is working. This might slow my computer down quite considerably. There we are. Oh no, it looks like we've definitely got video, he says. If anyone's watching, if they can Let me know in the live chat if it's actually working. If you're getting sorry, I'm just gonna have a check on my iPad. Let's have a little look. Alright, I think we're okay. I think we're good. Hopefully everyone else is okay. I've seen it, and obviously my worry was if it was recording all this, whether it was recording it correctly. But it sounds like I've just had a little preview and it sounds like it's okay. So, let's carry on with the armour. Getting right in there. That's... And it is a matter of knowing, you know, what speed is comfortable for you in terms of painting. You kind of want to do it one coat. I keep saying that because it's so important. You want to do one coat. So if you've got shaky hands and stuff like that, maybe take a bit longer to paint the miniature, because it'll take you a lot less time doing it that way. If that happens, okay? So if you get a bit of the grey bit on the top, just give your finger over the top and it will just basically get rid of it. Oh, that doesn't look too nice. What's going on with that paint? If your brush gets a little bit out of sorts, just give it a clean. It's usually a sign that you might have a bit of paint drying near the on the bristles. Give it a little brush. Make sure you take the water off because we're using contrasts. Doing all paint. Here, I don't think we quite got it in there. Nice, and then we do over the other side. Effect there. Not happy with that. And then carry on. Really get in that crevice, because ultimately you're trying to show the contrast, right, between the bone and the grey armour in between. Nice. Woo. Okay, so that's that one done. There he is. So Mariusz is really starting to come along now. Oh, hang on. What's that? What's this sash? What colour is that? Can we see that on any of them? I think it's purple. It might be red still. What colour do we want that? Do we want it red? Do we want it purple? Definitely a gold inlay would be good. Not sure. Right, we've got some more armour with the knees. So we're going to go in with the grey and do the knees. So what are we at now? 48 minutes. So it's, you know, it's going to take a bit of time to do miniatures this big, but I still think this is quicker than normal painting, but I could be wrong. It depends how quick you are at painting, right? I think some people claim that they've painted lots of miniatures in like a miniature an hour to like a phenomenal standard. So if you're quick at painting, fair enough. But if it takes you a bit of time, I think as long as the results are right, there's nothing wrong in that. Is that? That's a belt, so let's go with a belt colour for that. So let's go with his other thigh armour. And you know, as long as you do the different parts in one go, you can always come back with the same colour and do different parts that you've forgotten about or you missed or you didn't quite realise were that colour. And just make sure you take away the pooling effect then. Okay, cool. Has he got... I've just noticed he's got a little dog tag as a bone. Very cool. Oh man, how good is that art? Love that. So basically, those bones on his chest, they pounce open, and then he spears with them. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, I think this is him dying, isn't it? Conquered beast, maybe. Actually, no, I said that. Anyway, I diverge. So we've done the grey on there. Done the grey on there. I've got to do the grey on his legs there, in between the bones there as well. So let's go on to that next. Let's try and get... This is going to be a bit of a tough one. But again, just use your finger to go in afterwards. Let's turn around. Ooh. Oh, I just put my head in the way. I'm not trying not to that's pretty cool. Let's get that back foot. Nice. And now over here. Again, don't be afraid to keep cleaning your brush. You want it to keep a point, keep cleaning your brush. Okay. Awesome. Okay. That's that done. Now that needs to be bone. So I do need to go over that with bone. For example, so that arm needs a little bit of work. In terms of the sword itself, it's gold. So it's got a gold. This is going to be gold, and I'm going to use my the old Leadbelcher and contrast Iyanden Yellow on that one, which I'll show you hopefully tonight. Just being wary of time. It's not quite 11 yet, so that's not too bad. We got grey. Okay, so next grey is the knee pads. I'm following the art pretty much exactly on the card. So that's what I tend to do for pretty much all my paint jobs. So you see there, the knee pad has got that grey, and it's got the gold trim. So let's do his knee pads next. Cool. So it's about trying to be neat and trying to do that once over. Again, I didn't actually have to be that neat with this one. If I'm going to go over with Leadbelcher, it doesn't matter if I get this over it at all. Practice makes perfect, right? So if you can practice being careful and being accurate with things that don't matter. Oh, hang on. Have I lost the feed? What's just happened? Hopefully that's coming through. Ooh, encoded and overload. No, I think we're back again. Okay, sorry. So yeah, the knee pads didn't matter too much. Anything else? Grey. Sword, I'm going to do red. The central... Oh, right, here we go. So the central part is actually like a orange with a gold trim. Oh, yeah. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and paint... Oh, I've got to be careful not to go on the orange here. So I'm going to go round in between the... where the orange is going to go and where the... And again, if you get it on the side of the gem, it doesn't matter too much because that'll work. There you go. That'll do. How's he looking? Not too bad. Is he about... No. Yeah. not too bad. Okay, that's grey. Quite happy with that. We might come back to that grey if we have to touch up some bits. Okay, should we get that sword red? I reckon so. So I go into my bigger brush, getting back to my red. Blood Angel's red. Let's do the sword. And to be honest, literally just plaster it on. I'm going Leadbelcher over this, so I'm really not fussed about going over the sword. I will just sort that out afterwards. I'd rather get the sword working perfectly. And just give it a few coats. It's pretty much perfect. Let's do the other side while we're here. Nice. Give that a little. So just give that a little. There's a bit too much paint on that bit, I feel. So again, just give it a few little swipes. Make sure it's not too pulled. Again on this side as well. Happy days. It's too much paint on that bit. Okay, cool. So there's the red sword. Oops, sorry, that's the red sword. Yeah, pretty happy with that. You know, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm actually going to do it slightly different. I'm going to do it a metallic red. I'll show you what I mean in a bit. So, to be honest, I might just... What's the nicest way of doing this? If I literally just start to use my brush and take away... I'm not too fussed if there's a bit of red on there. That's not going to be too bad. But I want to take away... Oh my word, what did I just put that red on? Be careful, because I've just literally put his... Yeah. Cool. That'll do. Give it a little kitchen roll action. There we go. Okay, so I've brought it back. I'm going to do that different. Okay, cool. So I'm pretty happy. The red, the straps and the belt, probably going to do a brown. What am I going to do this? Red as well? I think that's red. So, let's give my brush a clean. I'm just trying to fill in the blanks of the card art I can't see, and that sash coming down here, I can't see. So I'm going to claim that's red. It kind of makes sense, right? With a gold trim. Red with a gold trim. That's what I'm aiming for. So let's go in with me red here. It's going to be gold, so again, I'm not too fussed. I will be... do I want it metallic gold? Or do I want it just yellow? Metallic gold, I think. And then we need to... The hardest bit is going to be that bit right in the middle. Oops. Which is a bit tricky to get to. And then I'm just going to put my finger across there, just try and take away any bits that I just accidentally went over. Like that. There we go. So now he's got this red inner cloak. Yeah, definitely red. Definitely red. Right decision. Right, the back of this cloak. This is where these single mold miniatures get quite hard. I'm using red. I really want it to be red because it's going to pop. Let's keep going. Let's have a go. I'm trying not to get it on his skin because that would be pretty bad. I think you could pretty much leave this out, to be honest, if you wanted to, because that is not easy to get a hold of. That's a hard part of the miniature to... I'm not even sure which... There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a good angle. I'm pretty sure that hasn't come up on the camera at all. Pretty happy with that. I mean, obviously I've gone over the yellow part there, but again, I'm going to be doing that with Leadbelcher. And oh, calm down, Tom. Gotta be careful where you're sticking your brush when you get it out of that area, and when you put it back in. Really hard to get those areas. Pretty happy with that though. Managed to get it in there. I think that'll make a difference in the end. That was tricky. That's the trickiest part of that miniature, I would say. Grabbing that back of that shawl. Now what you could do is leave it white, or if you wanted to, and then you don't have to worry about having to get in there. But I just wanted it for completion. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Cool. All right. It's coming along. It's coming along. Right, let's do this metal. Well, we've still got a tiny bit of this evening left. So what you want to get hold of is some Leadbelcher or any silver paint, effectively. And I'm going to be placing it. You see where I've been placing it before. You need to water this down, and I'm going to use the zero brush. So I'm going to carry on with this brush. Now, try not to get paint on the base of your brush. Don't get paint on the base of your brush. That's where, if it dries, you're going to start getting your brush splitting. Okay? So try not to get it on that part. Okay, let's start with this much. So get some decent amount of water. And you get your silver. Right. Here we go. So let's start with the easy part, which is the hilt of the sword. So I'm going to go in, and you literally just paint on the silver. Now, I am aware this is not contrast paint, okay? So I am aware of this, but I just love this technique and the result it gives, that I'm basically going to do it on every single miniature that has metal. I'm going to do it this way. Now, it's going to use contrast. The good point is it is going to use contrast, but use the contrast over it. And you'll see the effects in a bit. Or if you've seen my Joan of Arc videos, you'll know what they look like already. Okay, cool. So the silver's going on. Again, it's watered down a lot, and the reason why is so it can flow nice and easy. I can paint it. All of this is going to be gold, actually. So I'm going to get my big brush out in a minute. Let's just do the hard bits. Oh, cool. Okay, so I've done the handle and the hilt of this sword. Oh, hang on, no, I haven't. Nearly forgot this bit. So let's do the whole sword. Sorry, I'm off the camera there. Just get in there from this side. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we've done the handle and the hilt. We move on to the blade. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Leadbelcher on first, and then I'm going to go over with the Blood Angels Red to show you some different shades using the contrast paints and what they do to metallics. That was a bit thin. Still be alright. It'll still show the metal. It'll still have the shine coming through. So even if it's slightly too watered, it'll still work. But might need some more metal. We definitely need some more metal for the rest of it. So let's grab a lot more of that. That's better. Okay, so got down the metal, the Leadbelcher sword. Now, if you just use Leadbelcher, It looks like that, you know, silver plastic. It just looks like that. So we're going to go over that, all of the metal, with one of the contrast paints to make it the colour. Okay. Let's go back to the smaller brush because we know we're going to do the finer details of the metal, which include around these signets, I guess, or these clasps. We need to do around here. We need to do around here. That needed to be grey, right? Oh, I haven't done any of the grey of his chest plating. And I'm going to do the metal around his necklace. Okay, so let's get going. Just be careful not to get your brush on the fur. No, don't really want him to have a metallic fur. I think I'm just going to go in there with the metal as well. Cool. And again, make sure you're not leaving the white where there shouldn't be white. Right, I'm fully aware this is, you know, it's, as I say, it takes a while. But this is completely uncut, remember. This is pure live. Being careful not to touch that metal sword. I perhaps should have done that last. That would have made more sense, right? Yeah, if you're going to do this and you haven't started painting yet, paint the metal sword last, not first. Cool. So, as I say, if you don't want to do the metal, you can just go straight in with Basilican grey, and it'll look like a non-metallic metal. It'll look fine. It'll look absolutely fine. If you want to go the extra little bit, and you might not agree, you might think that actually it looks no different after I've done all of what I need to do for the effect, but I'm hoping it does give it a good effect. Okay, that's the knee pads done. Now we need to just go in here and do this one as best as I possibly can. Okay, so that's his middle buckle done, I suppose, buckle, I guess. This looks like this is, yeah, I'm going to say this is metal here. This kind of dog tag thing going around his groin area. We're going to go around this. Whoops. So just doing the dog tag there. We've done those. What else is metal? What about this over here? Yeah, I would say that that top part of this scabbard will be metal as well. So it'll be gold probably. Knowing Mariusz, he's a bit fancy. So let's just fill this all in. Gold. Let's fill this all in. The Leadbelcher. Nice, get inside there as well. Okay, that's that bit. Just have a little look round, see what we got going on. There's a little buckle there, so I'm just gonna paint that metal as well, which means there's one you can't see on the other side. Oh yeah, his necklace. big chain necklace. This B.A. Baracus necklace. Let's get that done. A bit more water on the paint. You got to make sure it keeps flowing. You don't want it dry because you'll find it very hard to apply the paint. And to be honest, that's just a general technique when you that's a general technique when you're using just normal paints. Make sure you keep your paints moist, or else you're going to find it hard to flow. There we go. There's his necklace. And as it dries, you'll see the metallic shine come through. But it looks too plasticky if you don't do anything. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got to do... what else is gold? There's gold chain. Connecting those together. Gold chain down there. Oh, the gold trim of the of this. So I'm actually going to go in with Leadbelcher with the trim of this sash going down. Sorry, is my head in the way then? Not my head, my hair. I'm running out of paint there. I'm being lazy and not getting more. Probably should just get more. Get it in there. So, okay, cool. That's the metal work done, I think. So if we do the brown and then, I don't know, I haven't decided what we're going to do the scabbard yet. What colour? Hang on a minute, actually. Just go in a little bit. Nice. Okay, awesome. So that's the, if you like, the undercoat of the metal done. And then we're going to paint over that with the different contrasts. While waiting for that to paint, let's think about the face. So we've got a face that looks like, yeah, pretty much exactly like this. So let's go in with, just try and think. Let's try, yeah, I really like this. This is a kind of bluey grey. Light blue grey. Gryph Charger Grey. So let's see how this one comes out. What's this? I'll probably go in with a... don't know. Okay, so... let's see if the eyebrows... Now, this may not... I mean, it's... That's more of a brown, but I'm just going to change it slightly. Or am I? No, not happy with that. Not happy with that straight away. No, don't go that colour. It's too blue. Needs to be browner. Let's go with a... Is it Xandri Dust or... Yeah. The Dunes. Aggaros Dunes. This is more of a brown, which is kind of what we want, right? Yeah, I'm not happy with that otherwise. And we might use that on the neck hairs as well. So let's give this a go now. See if this is more of the desired effect. That's better. That's more like it. Is it a monobrow? No. Oops. Okay. So that gives them a little bit of contrast on the eyes. Obviously, we'll have to wait for that to dry. But what we wanted was a different colour to the bone. So this is more of a brown than the bone. He's got red inside his ears. was pink. Now, that's a problem. I don't have a pink contrast. I think... Ooh, need to be careful of holding that. I think if I did the inside of ears bright red, it wouldn't look very good. It needs to be pink. I might try something I've never tried. I'm just doing a wet blend of white with red and see if we get pink. I don't know if this works. So I think you have to use like a special medium to mix contrasts. I could be wrong. I'm soon going to find out. This is going to be a disaster, I know it is, before I've even tried it. Ready? Ah, it's worked. Okay, that's useful to know. So you can literally pure blend contrast paints. Useful to know. Nice, that's come out perfect. Bit of luck. That was probably pretty obvious you could blend contrast paints. They're paints, right? You can blend any paints. Never mind. Right, let's get in with a brown next, I think. Oh, actually, should we do his kind of orange eyes? Let's do his orange eyes. So I've got an orange. Gryph-Hound orange. Yellows and orange give them a good shape because of the pigments inside them. You want them to be good. Right, what time are we on now? Hour 15. Okay. Be interested to see what you end with. So we're going to do the emblem on his belt here first. So let's get some bit more of that. Cool. And let's do his eyes. So he's got okay. He's got a really dark patch on his eye first. So what we... I really like that look. Let's try it. And I'll show you how we do that with contrasts. I'm literally going to purely still use contrasts, okay? But, with a big but, I've got a Wraithbone base normal paint, and this is what you use to touch up areas that you need to go back over with, or if you want to use a white. So we're going to start with a black. If I can find my black. There it is. So we're going to get our black Templar. We're going to basically do the black area of the eyes with this. I'm still using my zero brush, okay? So, you can see where the area of the eye is, and we're going to go in with a black, like so. Is that enough, do you reckon? I reckon just a bit more. There we go. Let's go to the other side and do the same. Now, of course, you can do this with black paint to get a really strong black. But, again, I want to try and do this as much as I can with contrasts. So there we go. We've done the black of the eyes. I think we'll just go back up to there. Just really trying to give myself plenty of space to do my orange eyes. Right, cool. So there's the blacks done of the eyes. I think it's going to give us a better look in the end run. Mouth. Now, the mouth is a different story. Yeah. You'd find it very hard to do really good mouth with just contrasts. I mean, you could, quite easily, we can go in with Black Templar, and then we could go over... Let's do it. I'll tell you what. I'm determined. Let's keep going with the contrasts. I would normally use Nuln oil here, but we're going to go in full black. This could be a disaster, by the way. But we'll soon find out. let's just literally fill in the mouth with this black. Now, you might be saying, what are you doing? But I am going to use the paint to go... interesting. To go over the actual teeth, okay? So I'm not going to leave him with licorice mouth. I am going to go back over as well. Okay, cool. You can already see we got the contrast now in the mouth, and we needed that, to be completely honest. Around the lips are kind of like that pink colour. The pink colour, right, okay, interesting. But that's cool. I mean, even just doing that, it really does help. Okay, it's all about getting these contrasts down. Cool, okay, I'm happy with that. So that's Black Templar. Yeah. So this is where the painter in me wants to get out the normal paint and really do this face justice. I'm probably not going to be able to do it with... Oh, it's got the scar as well. Amazing. We can do that with grey. That's not a problem. And we need to... Oh, whoops. I should have kept the black out, because we need to do his nose. So again, in with the black, and we're going to do the nose by going in like this. Okay, awesome. Maybe just go in over the ridge there to show that it's not just a shadow, this is actually part of his nose. Whoops. Not happy with that. Bring down your finger, and it will get rid of the paint. Better. Okay. So now he's got the nose. He's got silver. No, gold. A gold chin. So we've missed out a bit of metal there, which is a bit of a shame. What are they? They're kind of like this gem, this purple gem. Okay, we're going with some purple next. So we're going to go in with some purple for the clasps of his cape. We've got Shyish purple. And we go. And it'd be a nice colour. Ooh, that's a nice colour. I'll tell you what, I might have wanted to do the inside of the cape with this. That would have been quite cool. Purples are quite notorious for not being great. They look quite mucky as they contrast paint. But hey hey. Cool. Okay, so now he's got his purple gems, and I've got another Citadel texture paint. I guess it's a texture point. Ardcoat. Ardcoat's fantastic for doing kind of like gems, glass, that kind of idea. It works really well. Cool. Okay, we need to do the... we need to do all that yet. We haven't done his chest armour yet. So I think we better go and do that next. But he is coming along. He's slowly coming along, Mariusz is. So what I'm doing the chest. So we need to go back with our Basilican grey. This is the annoying one, is it? No. And we just get in there and paint the armour. I reckon that's his... Is that armour? I'm going to say no. That's at least this is easy to get to. Oops. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm just in there as well. Maybe just a smidgen in there as well. Whoops. Not too fussed about that bit. Cool. Okay, pretty happy with that. I'm just going to make that a little bit darker. By just using a bit more paint. There we go. Right, that's his chest. Armour, kind of done now. Most importantly, that side as well. Okay, brown. Should we get some brown on there? Let's get some brown on the belt and the scabbard. Scabbard brown. You know, I'm quite tempted by this purple. Right, let's... Yeah. I'm going to go with a dark brown for the belt, and I'm going to go for Snakebite leather for the scabbard itself. So let's start with the Snakebite leather. A great brown. It's the go-to brown. Wood, leather, Snakebite leather works really well. But not the lid, unfortunately. That might be a bit too much paint. We'll soon find out. I'm not happy with that flat part. I suppose if we would just go over with it, like so, I suppose that's alright. Whoops. Alright, just gotta get in there a minute. Whoop. There we go. That's the scabbard. Look, that lovely brown. I wonder if I should have done that for all the belts. Never mind. I'll tell you what I'm going to do it for is for the straps. So the straps, I'm going to carry on with the Snakebite leather. So here, going to come up. Oh dear. I'm not happy about that. You see what I've done there? Gone over his leg. So let's get rid of that while it's wet. Now, because it's on white, this is a bit of a problem, so you've got to be really careful. You got to clean your brush in between. And then kind of slowly go up to it. Perfect. And then you can get rid of your mistake. Not easy to do, but what's that? Is that a buckle? Oh, there's a buckle. Okay, cool. I've got to do his little goatee strap anyway. So what I'm going to do is, if I can see, is go in there with the brown, and then I'm going to come in here with the brown. Is that another strap? Looks like it. Oh God. It's when you're trying to get in between things, it makes it extremely hard to grab. Right, I need to... I don't even know how I can hold this. Buckle here. Strap there. Strap there. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool, actually. And then strap here. Strap. Here. Cool. Okay, so there's the straps done. Let's go with the Saigold brown and get his belt done now. Saigold brown is a very, very dark brown. Almost like a black brown. Is that one? There we go. Yeah. So cycle brown. And let's get this belt done. And remember, the whole point of contrast is it's to fill in those recesses and leave up. So be relatively liberal with the paint. Don't scrimp too much, but not too much to make it pool everywhere, because that's not a good effect either. I'm trying my best to just stick to the belt here. It's quite hard when you're trying to go inside the miniature. Is that coming? Where's that going? I'd say this is part of the belt. Cool. And then we've got this bit over here. Hard to tell. I'd say it stops there. We just got to get into the... Is my hair in the way? I apologise if it is. It's just why I'm trying to not look at a long distance away. There you go. So that's this belt now done, I think. Yeah. And we're going to carry that on over here as well. So the strapping around the scabbard, we're going to get in there and do the same. Cool. Okay, so the scabbard done. Right, now we've done the belt, we'll move on to the metalwork and watch. I'm going to say watch the magic. It's not going to work now, is it? So we're going to get the gold going first. Okay, so to do the gold, you need Iyanden Yellow. And by just going over the Leadbelcher, it gives a really nice, not too bright gold. He says, moment of truth. Let's go here. So we just start to paint the bits you want gold. And the beauty is, because the contrasts are slightly translucent by just the nature of them, the actual metal kind of comes through, which is really cool. Now, if you don't want to do this step with the Leadbelcher, you could basically just use Iyanden Yellow and do that as the gold. I bet, you know, it'll be quite cartoonish style, but to be honest, the game's a bit like that anyway. So, you know, why not? Why bother? Is the rest of it gold? Yeah. So when we want to do these bits. And obviously the beauty of this is you're getting the contrast effect with metallics, which is really cool. So, okay, you could call me a cheat for not using pure, what do you call it? Pure contrasts. But I love this technique. And to be honest, all you have to do then is just buy one paint that Leadbelcher, or any silver paint, to be honest. And then you're good to go. But I think that's just so cool. I think that how good a gold that actually looks like is just so good. I mean, it's not shiny that's going to, you know, blind you, but it certainly looks gold. Now, I said it's my technique, but it's obviously not my technique. I mean, Games Workshop said this is something you can definitely do with metallics. Cool. Maybe a tiny bit. Whoops. Okay, and then around here, if I remember rightly, this needs to be gold too. He's got quite a lot of bling, old Mariusz has. And then the chain's gold. Connects the clasps. Let's get that nice and goldy. A goldy looking chain is what I'm trying to go for here. Terrible, I know. Is there any other golds? Oh yeah. This is now gold as well, and so is this. So the chain that links the dog tag. I'm going to keep calling it a dog tag. I don't think it's supposed to be a dog tag, but and then bring yellow. And the beauty is, even if you've left some white, it's going to come out pretty good. There we go. I think I need to get some more gold in there. Oops, I might have gone a bit too much there. Hard to see. Something like that. This wants to be gold. Added special effects, sound effects there. I think that's all my gold, isn't it? So now you can see it as it dries. Honestly, how good is that as a gold? I just love that. Personal preference, admittedly, but I really like it. I'm just going to touch up a couple of metal parts. I've actually forgotten what the other one was going to be. It's definitely his chin and something else. Something else I've completely forgotten. Which is quite annoying. What was I going to... can't remember. Anyway, let's do this chin strap. Make sure we don't get over the white hair. Because again, I don't particularly want to have to get over that. There we go. Metal. What have I missed out? Oh, a buckle or something, wasn't it? Yeah. So let's get that buckle done. Here. And here. Cool. So the buckles. Cool. I think we're ready for the sword. Let's see the moment of truth. How does the red come out on metal? Metallic red. Soon to find out. Well, now we're on 1 hour and 36 minutes. 20 to 12 my time. Right, so red we're going on. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't believe what I was doing there. So we're going to paint the red on. Let's see how it looks. I'm hoping it still has. A metallic. I'm not too confident. It should do. Whoa, easy. I think it's working. It's better than just the same as the cloak. That's what I'm hoping. That we have a slight metallic tinge to it, which enables it to look different to the cloak. So we don't really want it the same as the cloak, right? Did I paint that yellow? No, I've not. I've not gone gold here yet. That's it. I think when that dries, you'll see that's good. I'm sure that was the right choice, he says. Right, should we get those orange eyes going? So to do the orange eyes, we need to go in with some white paint. I know, non-contrast. Naughty Tom. But we're going to go in with some white contrast. White Rathbone base colour. Don't need anywhere near that much. Now, ideally, you want a smaller brush here. So I'm going to do that, which you could argue is cheating. But, yeah. And for this one, I've got a Kalinsky very, very fine. I don't know what this is. Double or 000 or something like that. One or the other. Double or probably 000. And it just allows you to really get that fine focus on the eyes. So there we go. And that's going to go pure orange once it's dried. Get some more paint. Is that right? Yeah, that's good. Let's just have a look in there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That'll look good. And now we've got that dark. We've got that dark rim around his eyes, which I really like from the art. I really, really like this art in terms of the face. It's really nice. So that's what I'm going to try and mimic on Mariusz. And as you can see, like any painting, right, guys, it's the time you put in. The more time you put in, the better the paint job will look. If you literally go in splashing contrast paint left, right, and centre, it's going to look messy. You want to try and take your time. Oh, I've got to do that bone. You've got to take your time, not rush it. So, an hour and a half to do a contrast miniature sounds like quite a lot. I've not even started the base. I've still got a fair amount to touch up. So I'm nowhere near finished. I don't want to cleanse it anymore. So, we're talking about at least 2 hours per miniature in this at this rate anyway, which is, it's not a small amount of time, is it? But I think it's worth it. Just get in there. Perfect. So that's the bone done. I think that was all the bone I needed to do. Did I miss stuff? Yep. So that's that little touch up, and you'll do that as you paint. You'll just find little bits that you go, I missed that part, and then just do them as you go along. Right. We need to do a bit more on the gold. We need to do his teeth. That's quite an important part. The dog bone, are we going to keep it? Oh, I see. They've done it. Right. Let's do that. Black Templar coming in. Almost like shading. We're going to go around the bone. We're just going to make the bone real pop, which would be cool. Mariusz's family crest. Awesome. Have a look at that. There's the bone. Brill. Okay, cool. Right. So a bit more on the face. But you can see that we already just going from that to that, obviously from that to that, it's it makes a big difference, right? Oh, toenails. What colour to do his toenails? Right, he's kind of got a grey. Yeah, I think we're just going to go in with a Basilican grey again. Let's do those toenails. Oh no, I've accidentally touched the sword. I might have to very carefully go over that. So I'm going to use this quite liberally for the toenails. You want lids. Okay, let's go for the other one. I suppose what you could do is paint along with me. I might do some future live streams. What I might do is summarise some of the other paint jobs, so it's not lasting so long. Kind of get feedback from you guys, really. Oh, sorry. I hope I haven't been doing that loads. Let me know in the comments. Well, I'll have a look at the video myself, actually. Anyway, but let me know in the comments if there's some issues with the filming. How we can do about it. These are so big they don't fit in the Citadel holder, so you don't need to. Though you can just hold that. It's fine. Cool. So that's his toenails done. Let's give his feet some real character. And now we just got to carry on with the face. Before we do that, let's get the gold finished. So, Iyanden Yellow again. I'm going to carry on for another 10 minutes, so I won't be getting the base done in this particular live stream. But hopefully everything but. So go in with the yellow, which is basically gold. Turn this round. Easy. Get the yellow going on there. For its gold. I missed a spot there. Cool. Let's just get the red, touch up that sword. I'm not happy. I'm going to try not touching the sword. It's a really easy grab point though, yeah? Excellent. It's better. So you're seeing all the mistakes I make along the way as well. I think that's quite important sometimes. When you get a completely edited painting tutorial, I don't know about you, but I'm like, oh, how do I get to that point, what if you make a mistake? That kind of stuff. So hopefully, maybe I'll give you some tips of what you do if you do make mistakes as well. Right, see the whites of the eyes? We're now going to go over that with the orange. Awesome. Cool. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how he's looking, really. He's coming along good. Obviously, a white base is never good, because that's completely unfinished. But hopefully, just checking around a minute. We just need to do those teeth. I really want to do those teeth and the lips, if I can. I don't know. Should we go orange lip? No, I don't think that will look right. We kind of want that pink. I need that pink back. So I think we will do it, as we've still got a few minutes left of the stream. I'm gonna give a go at the lips, and then we're gonna do the teeth. So let's mix that red and white together and get that. So there's the red. We don't need much of that at all. Red's obviously very overpowering compared to white contrast. And then the white contrast. And then we're going to just feed in some of this red. Feed in some of this red. A bit more. There we go. There we go, we've got pink. Here we go. You ready? It's going to be amazing. Is that even coming out at all? Let's get some more red in there. Not really. I think it'll do the job. It's not great, admittedly. Is he showing snarling? That snarl? Yeah, it gives. No, I'm happy with that. I think it gives a bit of a pink tinge to the lips. As long as it hasn't gone it too much. I think that'll work once we get our teeth done. So teeth, can use the white. If this it's gone. Rathbone. Can you grab our Rathbone again? And we're gonna highlight those teeth now. So grab some Rathbone. Make sure it's not neat Rathbone paint. Make sure you've got some water. Oh, that might be too much now. Let's give it a go and see what happens. If it's too much, it won't pick out the teeth. So I'm going to try the big ones first. No, I think that's alright, actually. So what we're doing is just picking out the teeth now. Come on, brush. Don't fail me now. Yeah. Is that one right in the corner? Yeah, I think so. Ooh, careful. Nice. And one's there. There. Got a big one there. Big one here. On that. It's not as detailed here. It's a bit hard to see. Alright, let's get some more paint. And let's just make sure these front ones are really coming out. Awesome. Okay. So now he's got his teeth, bearing his teeth. Remember, with the exception of obviously a bit of white and some Leadbelcher, it's pure contrast. Pretty happy with that. It's looking pretty cool. Such a great sculpt. I know I keep saying it. Right, and I've done my teeth. I've done the gold. I'm pretty happy to leave the stream there. Obviously, the base is yet to be done. A lot of people have done a kind of sand colour across the ground, and then with the grass coming up. It definitely looks like there's a stone here, and there may be some. What you would use? What would you use? Maybe the Aggaros Dunes to do, which remember is this colour on his eyebrows. That could be done on all of that, and then and you can use to make the grass really stand out. You can use Warp Lightning green. I think it looks pretty cool white. Although I've gone over red there. Okay, cool. So this is Mariusz. Let's just show you a little bit of a turntable effect, and that's painted with contrasts. Hopefully you picked up some tips, some ideas. I'm not a professional. Please be aware I am not a professional painter at all. I've painted a fair amount. I'm not a professional at all. So obviously, hopefully I've given you some ideas. I haven't shown you the how the Ard coat works. I haven't got that to hand. But it's really nice. The Ard coat's really nice. So my final Mariusz will have Ardcoat for the gems, for the clasps, for the central medallion. I don't know what you call that. Maybe even for his eyes. I'm probably not going to do it for his teeth, because even though like saliva, you can do it like saliva. But yeah, there we go. There's Mariusz. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. If you actually tuned in for the live stream, thanks very much. Sorry I haven't managed to look at any comments, if there were any. But yeah, please, I'm going to be carrying on doing some painting Super Fantasy Brawl. I'll probably go with the statues next, after I've done the base for Mariusz. And then we'll move on to some other characters and keep the collection going. I also want to do the tokens, and I want to use contrast paints for the tokens as well, and see how they come out. Looking forward to those, because playing with the 3D tokens is so good, but they're quite hard to distinguish and see at the moment. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and please do comment about how you use contrasts and whether you liked anything that I just showed you. Okay, thanks.